All right, welcome everybody. Vitaliy Dubinin is here, and I'm super excited right now because we have my good friend Wright right now on the call, who is a professional trader, and the opportunity right now to really learn how to capitalize on the cryptocurrency trading is amazing right now. In my opinion, this is the most exciting way to grow your wealth in Bitcoins, because you've seen how some of the coins, like Bitcoin is the major one of them, has grown in value from just $1 in 2010 to $2,700 right now, which means if you invested $1,000 in 2010, right now you'll be a multi-millionaire. You know what I mean? And there are other coins like Ethereum. If you invested $1 in 2016, you would have been sitting right now on $300,000. I mean, the opportunity right now is amazing in cryptocurrency space, how some coins can rise in value by 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, even sometimes by 1,000 times, So this really brings a very interesting situation where everybody kind of is hungry for this information. How do I do this? How do I enter this market? How do I trade those cryptocurrencies, these altcoins? What the value of the coins is, why it goes up in value? I mean, so many questions people have in their minds, and at the same time, they see how maybe some friends, or they've read about stories how 18-year-old kids, they started doing trading. I saw a YouTube video the other day how a guy turned $27,000 into $900,000, and we are sitting right now with a man who actually has been doing this stuff for the last 3 years, and he already crossed well beyond $500,000 this year in 2017. So he definitely knows his stuff. He knows how to do this. He knows how to trade on cryptocurrencies, and this is the skill that you can really take with yourself because you own it 100% control. Once you learn this stuff, once you have those knowledge, the proper knowledge and the skill set in this area, you write your own ticket. You can really live a Bitcoin's lifestyle. So I'm super excited about this interview right here. How are you doing, Caleb?
Doing great, man. I'm excited to be here on the webinar with you and be able to spread the knowledge of this life-changing industry and how you all can interface with it to profit like I have. Because there's so many of these kind of programs out there that's trying to get your Bitcoin these days. People want to manage your Bitcoin for you because they realize how great this opportunity is, and they don't want to put in the work to learn how to trade themselves, or they don't want to put in the work to get their own money for some reason. So they come up with programs to get your money, and it seems like about 90% of the time out there, most of these programs are not really working. So I'm just so excited to put the ability for you to be able to be in control of your money in the process of participating in this industry and getting the most out of it that you can.
Right, and most people they're afraid of this. They're kind of beginning. They're intimidated about the whole thing. They think it's very complex. It's very complicated. But I really think you're striving to make the complex, make it simple, so everybody can really do this. So we have a lot of people tuning in here. We have Troy and Dennis, Monse, Kathleen, Sharon, Leslie, Joy, Louis. I mean, a lot of people. Give a shout out right now in the chat. Put a comment in. You're able to hear and see us live. I'm super excited because we have a lot to cover right now on this live training with you guys. So firstly, Caleb, give a little bit of a backstory of where you have started with Bitcoins. I mean, what really drove your interest to dive 100% in, to learn this stuff, to learn trading? I mean, what's the passion, where it comes from?
Well, I kind of discovered the whole concept a few years ago, getting involved with a particular altcoin in the market that had a program behind it. And it was an educational type of program. Like a lot of these programs out there these days, they use kind of education as a lure to get people in and start learning about this industry. And, education is so important, but it's important to get the full big picture. Fortunately, that organization that I was involved with was actually about putting good information out. So I was lucky, and I just kind of really embraced this industry because I had the vision for its potential. Having obviously once you do the research and you learn about a bit of the history from 2009 when Bitcoin was first incepted and this whole this whole new financial market was first incepted, you see this incredible potential there where it's created so many millionaires and multimillionaires,
Right.
Based on the early adopters of the new technology. You know, the same thing that if you look back a little bit further back in history, you look at the 90s tech boom and the dot-com boom, you know, that's the first area where really technology made so many millionaires from the people who had vision of, you know, seeing what these new technologies and companies come out with these new technologies and do with the internet, and, you know, either having the vision themselves or just very wealthy people just trusting their financial advisors managing their money for them, being like, these are the new things, this is the future.
Kind of similar how internet has developed, right? In the early like in the late 1990s, in the early 2000s, like everybody started jumping on the internet, but it was like a new thing. Like and the same thing is happening here with Bitcoins. We have early adopters, we have the crazy guys, you know, the advanced technological guys, the programmers, and then more and more widespread, more and more people, you know, starting doing Bitcoins. Then more millions of dollars poured into the startups. Bill Gates and Richard Branson and others started investing heavily into this. And then more application, you know, started to pop up. And now we see a booming industry where basically they try to give as simple as possible for everybody to use Bitcoins, to buy anything that they want with Bitcoins, to, you know, to make it mainstream, basically. When people can go to a grocery store and they can buy some groceries, you know, for their grandma with Bitcoins. That's the direction we are all moving at. And we are right now, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, we are still in the stage where we are just about to enter more mainstream. We are, you know, the awareness is going up. It's if you go to Google Trends, Bitcoins is like hot topic right now. But we're still like in the early adoption phase.
Yeah, I mean, we're past like the infant toddler stage of the industry, and we're kind of into the starting to grow up a bit stage. You know, we're not like quite a teenager yet, you know, this industry. And I was so excited when I first started really getting into this a few years ago. Bitcoin was only between $200 and $300. And even at that point, you know, and going back to what I was previously talking about, Stan, is how I was seeing the potential when I first got in. Even at that point, I was like, wow, Bitcoin, you know, it's $200-$300 a coin. Like, you start off at cents, and this thing has already gone like to the moon. This thing's already gone exponential. And I was, you know, purchasing as much as I could at that point anyways, because I did believe it could go further, because it obviously from 2013, it had come down an awful lot down to that point. So I just invested everything I could. I even borrowed money over the past couple of years, as much as I could here and there, to get into Bitcoin throughout its rise. And so what I was looking at even then, when it was $200 to $300 a coin, is that, okay, I see there's this whole altcoin market and these other coins with new technologies, new innovations that are going to come into the fray, that are in the fray, and they're growing in this competitive market, and they kind of represent certain strategic coins in this market. Not all of them, okay? There's a lot of coins in this market, but certain coins in this altcoin market represent a second opportunity at that Bitcoin wealth that most of us missed because, you know, yes, I'm very blessed to have got very heavily into Bitcoin between the $200 and $600 mark. Okay, now look at us now. We've hit almost a high of around 3,000 this year.
To borrow as much money as they could when the price of Bitcoin was $200, you know.
Yeah, I just had a feeling that borrowing was going to turn out really well for me. And you know what ended up happening is that through that, finally this year, a lot of this, part of the trading the cryptocurrency market is fundamental research, fundamental analysis, and market research, in addition to the technical analysis, which is what you use in order to determine like entries and exits and make profits. And for short, mid, or long term, there's fundamental analysis / market research, which is where you're looking beyond just the price structure and price history, but you're looking at the team that's developing the coin. You're looking at the innovations that are in the coin to be in the coin, the roadmap for development of the coin. Also, you can get an idea of just how bullish you can be on this coin for being successful in the future, because the future cryptocurrency market globally, there's thousands of coins now, but it's only really going to support 10 to 20 major players in the future. So it's kind of like our job right now to determine who those players are going to be. So that's what I've been doing over the past few years since I discovered this market, and I've been invested and trading in all the right places, and constantly on the lookout with my private day trading group that runs 24/7, where we analyze and scan the market and be in the flow of information for whatever opportunities may come along of that sort, while at the same time making sure to be constantly growing the positions in what have already been determined as the successful high volume, high value coins.
We're going to talk a little bit later, more about that stuff. Now, I think the Bitcoin itself is going to go up in the future even more in value. I mean, people say next year it's going to be $6,000, and in 10 years it can potentially go up to $100,000. You're
okay. I was really, I heard at the beginning of this year they were saying that Bitcoin was going to reach 3,000 by the end of the year, but we already touched 3,000 or just under it before the halfway point of this year. And there's so many things that have happened in the world to increase this mainstream adoption, like Japan going mainstream this year, Australia going completely legal, India is basically going to be coming online. They're going mainstream. The two Russia's all pretty much declared that they're creating a lot of regulation and going mainstream with it for 2018. These are huge masses of population entering into Bitcoin. So many of them even complete newbies. We're getting closer to the stage of the average Joe of Main Street starting to invest in Bitcoin. Now that's where things can really start to go exponential with Bitcoin and the all-around financial market of altcoins, is when just the average person on the street. We're getting closer and closer to that more. I'm so the way that I'm so into it, it's maybe more natural for more and more people that I personally know in my life to be getting into it, because that's what happens when people see people having success. They gain interest in what it is that you're doing, and especially when it comes to investments in the markets, and they want to take part.
I agree with you 100%. We're just getting started, and it's not too late to jump on a Bitcoin bandwagon, and definitely not late to do cryptocurrency trading, because it's actually super booming right now, and there is a lot more opportunities for you to grow your wealth by investing in some of the other coins and see them grow. Now, what are some of the results that you've been able to achieve over the last months and in a couple of years?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of building up to that a little bit, just through my story there. And so basically from January moving forward, the cryptocurrency market, many of the key assets that I've heavily positioned in, really took major steps upwards. And so between just that, the strategic long-term holding seeds that I had built in these certain assets, as well as the amounts that I've been using for the short-term trading, in just a couple months into the year, my account has already been fluctuating the $1 million value area, basically between 500K and the $1 million area has been a fluctuation for me, closer to the $1 million mark. And this is just what I see as the beginning, because yes, like Vitaliy says, we still have an amazing window of opportunity here, not just with the potential of Bitcoin, but with these altcoins. And many of these altcoins are still great deals to get into that provide you with so much leverage. And what I see moving into the future here is year by year, this kind of process is going to happen. It's a cycle of the markets, kind of a boom bust cycle, where the assets, they take a high, they grow, they take a high, and they come back down, they settle, but to a new higher low of buy support. And many of these assets coming up, they're kind of having a similar kind of price market rise in the charts to other assets that have succeeded in the history of this market, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's a cycle it's a boom bust cycle of growth. And so basically each year that goes by, all these assets are going to take new higher levels. Not all of them, certain key ones are going to take new higher levels in their growth. Like the older assets that have succeeded, like the Bitcoin, Ethereum, now entering the Litecoin, Ripple following in its footsteps, all these major players in the market, top volume, top traded coins, just to name a few. And there's other coins that are following in their footsteps, but just way lower in value. And so, yeah, that's pretty much how the track that I'm on at the moment is one that's basically the cusp, fluctuating in and out of a millionaire, and then moving towards multi-million-dollar status. Because
ask a question real quick, everybody.
Yeah.
Do you want to have an asset of over $1 million in cryptocurrencies? Just type it in the chat box. I want to see your comments come in, because the more excitement you're going to give us an energy, the more we're going to share and train today. So who is excited? Who wants to actually be a millionaire and owning an asset over $1 million in cryptocurrencies? Let me know right now. So this is very exciting, Caleb. You know, definitely an industry that is booming. Like, what is in your opinion, you know, why it's the most exciting way to create wealth for yourself in Bitcoin? What is the huge opportunity here?
Well, there's a lot of things that I really love about it. One is the speed at which that you can make money is just with the click of buttons and the movement of the markets. And once you get leveraged enough into the market, this can start to become your main way of income. I think it's important to be diversified in incomes. You know, this isn't the only way that I make money, but this is the biggest way that I make money. I like having other ways of money as well, because it's just great. You can never have enough sources of income, you know, and then also it gives you ease and calm in your trading. You don't have to be like #1 dependent on the trading to make your income for now, because what you really want when you trade, if you want to trade for the long term, I think my personal strategy is to tap into the investment, to pull out for your life, to pay for things as least as you possibly can. You need to do what they call hodl, or hold on for dear life, or keep it in the mix for trading, is depending on which stacks of money in your money management strategy that we're talking about. But the longer that you can keep the money in the crypto for the growth, the more growth you're going to get and have it available also in amounts for short-term trading. And so that's been one of the biggest keys for me in this whole early growth stage that we're in, rising up to when this really is becoming mainstream. These markets just become so much higher, and we don't have the same volatility. In the future, we're not going to have the same volatility in the market that we have right now. And volatility is what gives us trading opportunity. Volatility is the market moving up and down. Volatility is when the market doesn't just stay stable and in a stable line, or with just undulating movements that are kind of smaller and doesn't give as much of a trading opportunity. So that's another thing in this window of opportunity that we're in. We can still tell that we're in just an amazing time right now, because we still have excellent market volatility on these growing altcoins. I mean, even in Bitcoin, there's people out there that are just strictly trading, day trading Bitcoin with money management strategy as well. There's so many options out there you can do. There's arbitrage options between exchanges where coins are at different prices. And then, of course, there's just traditional trading. But
we have
a world of opportunity.
We have a lot of people saying they want to be a millionaire. We have Susie, Sharon, Rafal, Troy, Bruiser. I want to just acknowledge all of you guys. It is awesome that this is your intention. Everything starts with an intention. So to summarize this part briefly, you know, why it's such a big deal and a huge opportunity. There is still a bunch of place for growth for those coins, and you can have some of those coins. There is like your money can go a long way. I mean, you can buy tens of thousands of coins, even millions of coins. And when those coins rise in value, you know, by several times, by 10 times or 100 times, you can basically make 100 times on your money. You know, the key is really to understand what coins to buy, when to buy them, how to sell them, how to do this. You know, what's the whole strategy about it, which is really what we want to talk about right now on this webinar. So people are thinking and asking, is it really like a gamble with Bitcoins? I mean, what are some of the risks involved? I mean, is it something that it's like a casino, like you go and you put your money on some coin and then you kind of pray that it's going to turn out well, or is it there is more of a strategy to this?
Now, it's definitely a speculative investment, which it is somewhat of gambling. Let's not deny that fact. This is somewhat of gambling, but there's strategy. It's kind of like poker in a way where you have some amount of an ability to control your fate with the choices that you make, given the cards that you are dealt. Which the cards that are dealt are the market that's in front of us, and your ability to leverage that is whatever money that you have, and so. In that, there's more detail, more strategy in how you can get invested. And that's where the market research and the fundamental analysis is so key. Because there's a lot of people out there that will be just getting into cryptocurrency. I've seen this so many times. I even did it when I first started. Because, that's the best way you learn. I think of anything in life is by going out there and getting experience. And that's how I learned, as well as putting in extra diligence to learn from so many sources, all the sources I could find as I went, to become my mind the ultimate compendium of knowledge in this industry. And so what I see the mistake that so many newbies make is they just jump in, they get their Bitcoin, they go hit the exchange, and then they just look at it like they're kids in a candy store, all these thousands of coins. Look at the names. People will be just investing in coins for the name of the coin, okay, which is a total mistake. Maybe you could get lucky, okay? And maybe a pump will come along, especially on a lot of these coins that are what we call low volume. There's a low volume of trading coin. There's like a low amount of Bitcoin, total Bitcoin that's traded in that asset for the day, like maybe 10, 20, 50 Bitcoins, 100 Bitcoins worth. 100 Bitcoin might sound like a lot, but a lot of these top assets that are out there, I consider more of a mid-volume coin to be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 Bitcoins worth of trading per day, and a high volume is going to be in the thousands of Bitcoins trading per day, usually at least. Some of the highest volume coin I've seen out there for altcoin has been Ripple and Ethereum, which I've seen trade as high as 30 to 40,000 Bitcoins in a 24-hour period, probably a little bit higher actually. Just really crazy like bull moments in the altcoin market. So the mistake is to avoid is just to come in here and either not do your own market research or to just listen to other people out there that are making suggestions that maybe they haven't done the market research. Maybe there are just marketers out there that have, learned some limited information. They're just newbies too, but they're already making recommendations. It's good to do the research yourself, but also that's what I've made kind of a lot easier here with this course and community, because I've not only have I supplied my own market research that I've done on a lot of the coins that I'm trading into the course as an additional asset of information you get in the course beyond the trading of how to do the market research or how to do the trading, different trading strategies and technical analysis strategies that helps you to determine what you're going to do for trades, analyze the market and where you're going to enter and exit and all that, and make your profits are set for long-term seeds for more long-term growth and learning about money management. But the key is that you'll learn how to do the market research. You'll learn the proper places to look online to search about, to seek out information about a particular coin. Say if somebody mentions a coin to you online and wants you to kind of get into it, there's going to be people like that. And it's always good to do your diligence to see if that coin's even traded on the exchange yet. There's a lot of people out there pitching coins that aren't even traded on an exchange yet, a public exchange. And sometimes those are ICOs. I know we're going to get to talking about that a bit later. I might be getting ahead of myself, but those are investment opportunities. Then there's what I call the network marketing ICO, and I think I've made that term up myself. I don't know if anybody else uses that, but that's where a coin has like a network marketing company behind it, and they're promoting a coin. I consider that kind of an ICO of a network marketing style. And then there's what's called fair launch coins. That's where coins are mineable and tradable from the outset that they become available. And sometimes there's a period where they're mineable first, and then they end up on the exchange at whatever value they start out, which is really super, super low. And that's actually where I've made most of our money is in fair launch coins.
Launch coins?
Yeah, fair launch coins. Yep.
What is fair launch coin?
A fair launch coin is basically when a coin is launched to be available for mining. Sometimes will happen first. That's where miners, they have their mining equipment set up, and they can point that mining power, their rigs, at different coins to mine every single day or whenever that they want. They can point their, at certain algorithms, they can point their hashing power and they can accumulate coins. And so fair launch coins, oftentimes, if it's not both, that they'll be mineable and tradable from the outset. Many of them will be mineable first, and then they'll get accepted onto an exchange like Bittrex or Poloniex and become tradable and grow from there. Now, if you can figure out the fair launch coins early, when they're early in value, that's where a lot of money can really be made, because usually they have some really, when they grow in value, they have some really, the right ones will have just strong fundamentals that, they'll never go back down to that value again, where they started. And so you get in early on those and get some of that early growth. And so even when you get into something that is, fair launch coins, you got in at a fraction of a cent and it just goes to, say you got half a cent and it goes to 10 cents. You just went a 20x gain, or 20 cents is more like I think 40x at that point if you're in that half a cent. So it doesn't take much to get an incredible gain. You put a Bitcoin in at something that's half a cent and it just goes to 20 cents and you just made 40 Bitcoins or something like that.
Wow.
Okay, now that can really change someone's life pretty quickly, being able to make an amount of money that fast. Like some trades that I've made this year has been on average a few K to 10K to 20K to 30K has been some of my biggest profits in just one trade this year. Because as you trade the market, you're going to build up, you're building up, but you're also positioning for these larger gains that can really change things for you. Because once you get one of these larger gains, it multiplies your Bitcoin, and it gives you more ability to be able to get diversified and see the right opportunities for trading. Also, just enables you to get your claws into the market more widespread once you have more money, of course. Now that makes sense, and implementing a proper money management strategy and doing that does too. And that's another thing I provide as an example in my course is how I'm kind of managing my money stacks, so that I don't lose on coins. Say if I'm trading a coin, I don't have a leg to trade 100% of what I'm holding, because it might go up, like it might just soar after I sell those coins, and then if I'm not holding like a little bit over here as well, and I have a little bit I'm using for trading, okay, then I can make sure I experience the best of both worlds, not to get too deep into that. But there's definitely the strategy in trading with money management too, to make sure you don't miss out on big gains when you're just making like some small gains here and there. You want to be set up for the big boom, the skyrocket, the launch.
Being able to turn a Bitcoin into 20 Bitcoins, that's like
Vitaliy, I'm having a hard time hearing you for some reason. I don't know if the mic is moved to the side or.
No, mic is fine. I'm saying that it's really awesome for most people to turn one Bitcoin into 20 Bitcoins. By doing investing into a coin, like you said, fair, whatever you call it, I don't know, but
fair launch coin.
Fair launch coin. Where it's just maybe a half a cent or a cent for a coin, and it can go 20 times in value, or you're basically 20 times on your money. It's life changing. And I know you work hard on creating a whole course and training, that you put like over 70 video modules and really created something awesome that we're going to be sharing with you a little later on. But somebody asking here, how many of the cryptocurrencies you actually own? That turns up into your portfolio for $1 million?
That's a good question. And I don't even ever keep track of the total number of cryptocurrencies that I currently own at one moment. But that's a good question. That's like keeping track of how many videos that I've put in the course. I got to keep checking. But I have a bunch. I know people that have more than me, because there's a couple of different strategies. Okay, there's some people that like to invest in 100 of them, a little bit. I'm a little bit, and that's actually a strategy that can kind of work, but it's a little bit more casino-ish. For me, I've been a bit more strategic, and I like to identify these powerful coins to get involved in and get positioned in a serious way, strategically at multiple price points. as I see the market move. So I have holdings for that long-term boom, and I have holdings for the short-term tradings. And so in terms of what makes the bulk of that portfolio value, I can think of that kind of off the top of my head real quick, and that would be within probably 4 coins, probably about 4 different coins that I'm majorly positioned in that I had researched as what I would determine, what I had determined or had a vision would be top players in the future based on what they were doing, no question in my mind. And I heavily invested into those coins at very nice low points, actually near their all-time lows over the course of the past year and a half. I caught their all-time lows. I had been investing when they were like a little bit higher, and I watched them. There was like a slump last year in the cryptocurrency altcoin market where just like everything went like down towards through like December and January. And I invested in things a little bit higher that I'm still learning more of the technical analysis and the right entries and figuring out what the market's going to do a little bit more mid to long term, understanding the seasons of the market and all that. Everything I've come to a much greater understanding now. But it turns out that even the coins that I had purchased that were a little bit higher in value, and I watched them go down to their like pretty much all-time low where I bought more and more. Okay,
that makes sense. You know,
Can't be fearful. Can't be fearful in the market when you see opportunity. When it goes down, and the right assets you buy more.
That's very encouraging, Caleb, you know, because it doesn't take you owning a million different coins in order to get there. You just need to have several that will go really well. And another really good point is that sometimes people make the mistake of they're investing in a coin where it's high, you know, and then they sell them when it's slow. That's not a way to make money. That's a way to lose money, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You never want to sell at a loss. That's, I think, in all these years, all the trades I've made, it's a lot of trades. There's probably only like 1 or 2 where I cut a loss that was just small. You know, someone did the money back, and both of those times I did that. If I was more patient, I could have ended up in a massive profit rather than playing with fear. So that's an interesting thing, you know. And I also mentioned there has been a couple of coins where I've lost money. They've gone away. Okay, that can happen. That's why you want to be careful. Those are called my newbie mistakes from when I first got going, getting into a couple wrong assets. You know, it's interesting though. I've had some lower volume assets that I've purchased and I've waited just like 5-6 months, and then they go boom, and I make like, you know, I have like a Bitcoin in them, and it turns into like, you know, 7-8 Bitcoin. So it's but those are not where you want to have a bulk of your money. That's a more speculative in the lower volume areas, a little bit more gamble, more risk, where you can have some nice and high reward. Sometimes it takes time, but in an overall portfolio strategy, it's important to be thinking big picture and long term and have a larger proportion of your money. I think to have a certain proportion of your money in the top coins that are out there, like the proven coins of the industry, top, what I call top volume or high volume / high value coins. Okay, and then you have the low value, high volume coins. These are like the coins that represent a huge leverage opportunity because they've kind of proven themselves in the market to where they have a high trading volume, even though they have a low value. When something starts developing a high trading volume, low value, something's got to give at some point in the future. As long as its underlying fundamentals are very strong, you've identified through market research that the thing's going to go up. Okay, and so that's something. And then there's the higher risk, low volume, low value coins where you're looking for some gems that could move their way into the medium to higher volume, and with that, a nice little increase.
Let's make it a little bit more practical, because a lot of people, they're just wondering like how they even get started. You know,
right?
What are some of the places that people can go to get Bitcoins? And maybe you can share your screen and go to one of the exchanges and kind of like show people, okay, this is where you get the coins. You know. Just bear with us 1 second, because I want you guys to to see how the coins are, are getting live. So here's Poloniex, right, Caleb?
Yep. All right, let's see here. And so this is the Poloniex exchange here, and this is a place where we trade a lot of cryptocurrencies. And then we also have Bittrex. These are the two main exchanges. Poloniex is kind of a higher volume traded exchange. Coins kind of have a much higher volume here than Bittrex. Bittrex does have pretty. These are the two top volume exchanges of the industry. Just comparatively, Poloniex is higher volume. Bittrex is a bit lower volume.
But there are more coins on the Bittrex than they're listed on the Poloniex exchange.
Yeah, there are coins that are listed on both exchanges, and those are typically the high volume, high value coins, and some of the medium volume coins. And then there's going to be like low value, low volume coins that are unique to each exchange. So there's some trading opportunities that are unique to each exchange. We go to the area. We'll show like more of the coins here.
There's a lot of coins. I saw on coin market cap, there was like almost 1,000 different cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I think there's like even more. I think there's like a couple thousand or a few thousand out there. But of course, cryptocurrencies, they come and they go every day. There's coins that fall off these exchanges like every few weeks. Bittrex or Poloniex will have like a number of coins that just get dropped off because they have too low interest.
Yeah.
Meaning that they have very low trading volume, and the exchanges make their money off of the trading of the coins. The little fees for each trade. There's a little tiny fee. It doesn't really accumulate too much for you.
0.15% the exchange gets for every trade. That's how they make their money.
Yeah, so you don't really notice it, but when they have like millions of people that are trading, they notice it. Like that's a huge income stream, because you got people that are making hundreds of trades, you got millions of people that are making lots of trades, that's going to really add up. So that's how they get their money. These exchanges.
So that you click on this percentage change on this column of percentage change. When you click on that, we're going to see there are some coins that grew up in value lately, right? Like this one, Idni Agros, right? 233%. This is in the last 24 hours, right?
Yeah, this one seems to be pumping pretty good.
So
I may need to do some research on this and see what this coin is about.
What reason value you think? Like what might happen that a coin can suddenly go up in value like this? Because I see that change is pretty drastic.
Yeah, I mean we're looking at fundamental analysis. So like fundamental like news events. There's a couple of things that could do this. Okay, there's a pump and dump group, okay, or there's fundamental news event that's happening, and it's making the people that know about this coin excited and go invest in it, go trade in it, or cause people to pump it up a bit, basically. Right. And so this is actually a pretty good volume right now, 2,000 Bitcoins. I'm not sure what it's been doing on average, because this one is kind of, I don't know as much about this coin, but I'm interested to look now and learn a little bit more about it and see why is it at this value here, 51,000 Satoshi, which is actually that's a pretty good value. It's like 5 times the value of Ripple, for example, which is a coin that I have no doubt for the future because of its really strong fundamentals. Idni Agros. I'm curious to do a little research in some of the right places online and see why that it's here at this value. See if there's some logical reasons for that I can find. If I can find logical reasons, then I start to become interested in this coin. There might be something behind this coin. You don't know. And so you see these things happen, and it might give you ideas for market research to go look further and see what's going on with this coin, you know?
Right, right. So you say 2030 Bitcoin's volume, it's in the mid range or high range?
I would say that, and especially, I'd say this is like, it's exhibiting high volume right now. In 2,000 Bitcoins in a 24-hour period, especially on Bittrex. Right now, this is the third volume coin trading right now. Ripple's actually down a bit. It's like 726 Bitcoins in the past 24 hours. Now, if we look comparatively, look at Ripple here. There's 1,726 Bitcoins for the past 24 hours on Bittrex. Let's go over here to Poloniex. I'll show you. In the same period of time, Poloniex has done 5,060 Bitcoins worth of Ripple. XRP is Ripple in the past 24 hours. So you see it's done double the volume as Bittrex. That seems to be the trend between these two exchanges. So when a coin is on both, you'll see that on Poloniex, it's a higher volume. So right. High volume is good because it gives you liquidity. You want liquidity in a coin market because that means that there's always buyers and sellers, and you'll be able to get in and out of the coin easily. That's another reason why we love higher volume coins as opposed to lower volume. Is that's where the risk is less because you don't have to wait for buyers to come along and push the market up into where you were trying to sell. You don't have to wait like as much time. It's like kind of constantly happening within ranges. And so that's why we really like these higher volume in a coin.
Right. So this is a coin you would definitely consider doing the market research on because of the volume and how it's been changing and what's the whole excitement about. Like people are investing a lot of Bitcoins into that coin.
Yeah, so this is a coin that like I might go over into my private chat group on Slack and mention, or someone down there might have noticed this too, and they'll mention, "Hey, does anybody know anything about Idni Agorist?" And then like some of us will start looking into it. But, hey, look at that! Really did some volume today, and we'll start taking a look into it. And if there's anything interesting, we'll talk about that in our market research channel of the group. And if any of us start trading it, we'll start talking about, our analysis, looking at it in the trades that we're making in the trading talk channel of the group.
Market analysis, like, is it something that you're just basically go on Google and start like reading a bunch of stuff about like YouTube videos? Oh, what about what people say about this coin and stuff like that? Or is there something that goes more in depth into doing that kind of market research? Because I know you've been doing market research analysis for every coin that you majorly invested in.
Exactly. So I actually have like a checklist of areas that you can go look into this coin, which includes certain forums online that have excellent Bitcoin/crypto community. Using Google in certain ways, using Google Trends can give insights. Looking for official websites and communities of these coins. Looking for their Slack chat group communities. Just a few things that I could name off of areas where you would go to dig in and find more information and get an idea of the pulse of the life of the coin and its community.
I think one of the important things is to have a platform, a really solid platform for the coin, and a community around it. So there's people engage into this, and there's a community around it. There's a platform, right, for the coin.
Yes.
It's a good indicator.
That's so key. That's so key. Community gives a coin legs to grow.
Just to understand, guys, an exchange like Poloniex and Bittrex, it's very simple. You open an account there. It's a simple process. You just go and you deposit some Bitcoins there. And from the Bitcoin, you can then go and exchange and you can basically trade and buy other cryptocurrencies that are listed on that exchange, and then at any point in time you can sell them at the current market price, stuff like that. Or like oversimplistically speaking, it's a simple process to actually get involved into getting some of the coins, right? The thing is to understand your strategy behind this, like not just randomly and blindly buying coins.
And also when you find a coin that's good that you want to get into, don't just buy it right then. Like, look at the market for a little bit, get a feeling for the market, leverage the chat group, and talk and get an idea for what other people are thinking about the market, where the good entry might be, and wait for the good entry, or determine if you need to enter then at that point if it is at the good entry, rather than just going in blind. And another thing I also, and I talk about this in my course, but just drop a little gems here, is that when a person is getting into a new coin, or getting positioned in a coin, I always say don't put all the money that you would like to invest into a coin. So you determine a certain amount of money that you would like to invest from your overall budget, and you want to invest this certain amount of money into a coin, but don't just invest it into that first position, that first price area that you find that, okay, I'm going to make the entry here. I'd say divvy that amount. It's money management strategy, so it's portion it. Maybe use a third or one half of it, and then look to see if the market, maybe you are wrong. Maybe the market is going to go down more and give you a better price. Now there you have some funds ready to get in and lower your cost average on your coin entry downwards, rather than doing the all for one, one for all strategy, where you put the whole pot in and then you're waiting to take a profit. So then maybe if the market is trending lower, you can get your cost average down. So being strategic with the money that you're using is so key, as well as being strategic about when you enter a coin that you've discovered you would like to get your money into.
Right. So when you click on this Itni Agoras, for example, coin, you're going to see, click on that for a sec. Let's say you have some Bitcoin in the Bittrex exchange. Basically, what you would do is you would say, okay, what's the current market price? Is 54,000 Satoshi right there on the top, and you can just say, okay, I want to buy, with all the money I have or a portion of the money, and just getting the coins. There is on the left side, there is buy. You see the buy button, buy Itni Agoras, and on the right side there is sell. So there's as simple as that, to do that kind of trade. So just I wanted people to understand that the technical side of doing the trading is easy. It's the strategy behind this that is way more important. Speaking about that strategy, there are some main buying strategies. Like there is the pump and dump, there is the short term, there's the long term. How do you think about that? Like different strategies that you have at that point.
Pump and dump is basically like what you're looking out for in the market. Is you're looking for coins that are pumping, and you're looking for when they're dumping, and you want to be purchasing before they're pumping, and you want to be selling portion for profit when they pumped up, but before that they've dumped. And after a coin's done a nice dump, that's when you want to be buying. So you want to be thinking like the opposite of the masses, which is so classic when people talk about investing and trading, that you think and act the opposite of the masses. When people are being fearful and the market's dumped down and they're being fearful and they're selling, that's when you want to be finding that key opportunity to be buying, the right entries to be buying. And when people are being too hopeful and when everybody's buying, that's when you want to be selling, especially when things go exponential. That's when you want to be selling, because things always correct. And so those are key aspects. And like Vitaliy is saying, this whole aspect of using the exchanges it's and even overall, none of this is exactly rocket science. I think it's all within the capability or grasp of anybody with a good mind and a willing to learn mind to come in and learn. But the videos I've created in the course basically take you step by step through the function and the use of all these things, whether it's getting the Bitcoin into the exchange and how to do the trades and use the different functions and charts and things within the platform. Step by step, easy for you to learn and get that down so you can get on to learning the more important stuff, the trading strategies, the technical analysis that helps you to determine, looking at a coin long, mid, and short term to see what your entries are going to be for that coin. But
right.
I mean, at the most basic look at it, if you're buying low and you're selling high, and you're thinking the opposite of the masses in order to do that, and repeatedly rinse and repeat.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you 100% that it's not complicated for the majority of people to do this stuff. They just need to be willing to take a little bit of time to get familiar with those platforms. If I could do it, I'm so far from being a trader. I can tell you that, guys. I'm more of a marketer and something that I want to educate, or I'm less of a technical analysis guy and trader guy. So for me to take a look at this, initially I was like scared, like, oh my goodness, what I'm doing, I have no idea. But when I start getting educated myself about this, I saw this is really not that difficult at all to do, and it takes little time. What are some of the tools that you are using, Caleb? In your trading? I know you have like a CoinEng tool that you are using. Some of the advanced strategies, I know you're teaching that as well, right?
Yeah. So I teach to use this platform called CoinEng, which is like the best kind of charting platform that's out there for the cryptocurrency market. And it gives you a lot of good options to look at the market. Like, this is a chart of USD trading against Bitcoin right here. This is actually what's called a depth chart, which can provide you with an interesting view of the market. The green side here is all the buy orders that are lined up. And you may notice that there's these little vertical lines coming down. It kind of shows you where what are called the sell walls, or areas where there's a lot of buy support that could be sold into. Like this key area right here at $2,510, there's quite a bit of buy support here for Bitcoin. You can tell that then it kind of tapers down, and the buy support kind of tapers down weekly at the 2512 area, and then the resistance is the red part. These are the sell orders that are built up for Bitcoin. And you see that really the resistance is pretty heavy around 2524. So Bitcoin may fluctuate in the short term between 2510 and 2524, like a $14 range. Then you see it shows the buy walls here with these vertical lines on the red side. These are the key areas of resistance. You see this vertical area. That means there's right here. See where I put the cursor? That means there's 129 Bitcoins it takes of the market buying into the sell side for Bitcoin to rise to $2,525. It would take 106 Bitcoins to get from where the market currently is, just right in the middle of these two, which is like basically about 2518.
That's a supply and demand right there. A lot of
people, this is supply and demand, and so you see, wow, someone just bought into that. See that? The green just bought right into that. So it looks like there's some good buy support that hopefully it'll eat right through this wall, and then Bitcoin can actually have an easier path to grow to 2,600. And then so down here on the left, you also see what's interesting is it will show you the price of the Bitcoin, and then how much quantity worth of Bitcoin is available at that price. Well, the buy side is how much Bitcoin is available, or how much money is worth as a USD 25 is available to purchase at that price. So there's 1 Bitcoin's worth of money at the 25, 24 price. And you can scroll down it and it'll give you an idea of like where the buy support is. Like right here at 25.10, there's 75 Bitcoins worth of buy support. And that would be this area right here. You see that, this kind of wall right here? And so where I just identified that down here, you kind of scroll down and see the lay of the land, and same thing with the sell side. If I click here, it'll take it to the main charting area where we can do things like we can draw trend lines. Let me just change the, so you've got an hour chart right now. I'm going to change it to a 1-day candlestick chart for a little bit longer term overview. Taking a moment for it to load here. What's wrong with that? Then do it again. Need to refresh it.
Basically, Coinigy, you can connect it to any exchange, and you can like it gives you more tools and charting and different things that you can do within this platform. It's a little bit advanced. Obviously, we're teaching this stuff too. So just so you know, this is the real deal here. Trading with this Coinigy, like gives you so much different tools, man.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just kind of drawing a trend line right there for Bitcoin. A couple of possibilities here. Maybe one starting like right here. You need multiple points to really make a trend line. You need at least 3 points. So that's a trend line starting from right here. 1, 2 point, 3 point, and we have 4 or 5 points. It's right now it's toying with staying on this trend line. If Bitcoin stays and grows above this price mark, this is like the bullish trend line right here. And if it breaks further down, we could be going into a bear market. But right now, in the past week, we've been looking at Bitcoin has kind of been on the cusp of like moving into a very confident bullish zone, and it's looking like it could. We wanted to, and if it does, then we could see higher price levels of Bitcoin. Of course, we do have that fork coming up for Bitcoin on August 1st, and if that goes successfully, we could really see much higher prices in Bitcoin coming within the next couple of months if that all goes very smooth. But yeah, that's just for an example. You can draw trend lines. There's all sorts of cool tools that you can look at and use for technical analysis on this Coinigy platform. And it's about, it's a cheap cost, and you don't have to start out using this. It's like $20 a month, $15 a month. But once you start having success in trading, $15 a month really is nothing. To be able to have like the best tools available to you to be able to analyze the market, because you're getting so much more information with this charting platform than you're getting with like Bittrex, which has kind of like pretty basic charting. It's a pretty basic chart, no real, you can kind of get some tool to try using it. It doesn't really work the best. Poloniex has slightly better charts. It gives us some better indicators. It also has a depth chart down here. The depth chart is much more detailed on the Coinigy, but you can get by, and I didn't use Coinigy for a long time, and you can get by just fine using just the exchange. But when you want to take it to another level, Coinigy is definitely recommended. I have a training in the course that takes you through all the like aspects of Coinigy that you're going to want to know about, the tools and features and stuff. And you can just use it as a charting application, or you can also hook your exchange up to it, and you can trade directly from Coinigy. But I don't like to do that personally, because from my research in this industry, that to use a program like that, you have to connect through what's called API, and that's been a weakness. That's been a weakness for hacking. Is through APIs, and I want to do everything I can to protect my accounts from being hacked. And so I'm just not interested in using a third-party program to connect into my exchange to then allow me to trade through that platform. I'd rather trade direct on these platforms, Bittrex and Poloniex. It's going to be the absolute safest experience. There was looking back at this Idni Agris chart, I did want to drop you a little value on this because I saw something when I moved it to the 1 day candlestick chart. Now that's where each one of these candles on the chart represents 1 day. Okay, so let's just see a little bit further. It gives us a little bit longer term perspective of what's happened with this coin. I'm gonna go to like an even longer chart, like a one. Let's go to a 3 day chart. Okay, so it does look like it started here. This might have been, now just looking at this chart, this might have been, this very likely, unless this coin entered the market on another exchange prior as a fair launch coin, this might have, there's a good chance this might have been an ICO coin, an ICO investment coin, initial coin offering, which is where, initial coin offering is where people invest in a coin before it hits the market. There's like an investment stage, and then it hits the market, and what happens is, in that period when it first hits the market, there's going to be people who make a lot of money, the people who got in early on the ICO, and then they're going to cash out like on the first instant that it hits the exchange, and the value goes down a lot. So it starts at a high value, and then it goes down, down, down over a period of time. That's something that a lot of ICOs do, I've noticed. Most ICOs seem to launch with a frenzy of buying and selling in the beginning, which drops the price way below to whatever that the ICO investment stage like said that the price was supposedly was based on the number of investors and amount of money invested. And so then over time, you can see since 2016, this coin has really come down. It came down to an all-time low in March of this year. And for some reason, now it's skyrocketing. So I would assume there's probably some sort of fundamental news events that started happening after this all-time low where it starts growing. And then now it's really doing this kind of exponential thing over the past 2 days. It's just 2 days ago, it was just at 14,000 Satoshi. And now it's, yesterday it went up to 34,000 Satoshi, came back down to 30,000 Satoshi, and then over the course of this past 24 hours, it's risen again. So you see, just the other day, it rose like more than double, and then in yet another day from that point, it rose almost doubled again. So if you were in like just a couple days ago, you could have really just increased by like 5x if you were in this. So if you were like kind of seeing, maybe you found this coin like earlier, like kind of like you found this coin earlier, like, oh man, look how high it was. Maybe you found it earlier this year, like, oh man, look, it's kind of low here. Do some research on this coin, see what's going on, you know, if it's worth like getting a little bit maybe. That's one thing you're looking for is after coins have gone up a lot too, that you want to wait until you get into those coins. You need to find them to settle back down. Sometimes it takes time, you know. Like there would have been buy-sell opportunities on this, but you would have had, it would have took maybe some patience, you know.
Right.
But a little bit risky when you start in coins that are high or they just reached high points. So like you look at this and you want to stay far away from this right now. Like it's just gone up so much. The last thing you're gonna want to be thinking is, oh, let's go buy some of this. Look, it's skyrocketing. Next thing you know, it's probably gonna come down and start settling down and, you know, do something like it's done in the past. You know, like goes high and then starts settling down over time. Except for who knows how high this will go right now. Maybe this has more life in it, but it looks already exponential to me. Let me move it to the 1 day chart. Oh, that was a 3 day chart.
All of your question, guys, just so you know, Idan, Rafal, Troy, and all of you guys. And you mentioned ICOs, man, you know, initial coin offerings. This is a very exciting thing that basically before the coin actually launches into the Bittrex or Poloniex exchanges, the open markets, those companies, they offer you to buy the coin at the cheapest price possible at that time and allow it to use the money to grow the platform and the community until it builds up the value, and then one day it can hit the open exchange. And this is where you've seen probably happen with this coin, where you may be holding a bunch of those coins and then it hits the market and then you sell those coins in the open market and you make a big profit. And I know that some of the coins on ICOs, right, Caleb, I mean, they are, there are some of them that are really, really great investment opportunities. There are other coins that are never going to hit the open exchange, and people will be stuck with those coins for forever.
Well, when it comes to ICOs, they usually have an agreement pre-set up that it's going to hit the exchange by a certain date. Okay, And so on that date is when the selling frenzy is going to happen, and there's going to be some fewer people that profit. It's going to be definitely fewer people that take the major profits. There's going to be some that take smaller. There's going to be some that like didn't really have trading experience and just held the coin, and they're getting totally screwed. And they may end up just like when they see how far the coin goes down, they may just start selling it. Like right here, you see this major spike down. People probably just got fed up and are like, "Oh, we're dumping this coin, recouping our losses, go invest elsewhere." But in this scenario, there was enough buy support where it bounced all the way back up, but then just continued its downward slump. So whatever they sold in this range, I guess they were fine for a while, but they would have ended up being, for the most part, right, considering this is actually still a lot higher than anything it ended up slumping down to. It would take a couple of years for anybody that held the coins to get back to their previous value if they didn't sell in any of this upper area up here, which can be kind of dangerous, I guess, because you want to have money available for trading. You want to have your money in assets that are actually growing. You want to be in at the low points. And so, like with ICOs, it's really important to take profit, I think, if you do invest in them pre-market, and to take profit when it initially comes out and look for them to slump over time. There's only been one ICO I've seen that's been quite remarkable. That was Zcash. And that one was just kind of crazy. There was points where that one was trading for multiple Bitcoins per Zcoin or Zcash, but it did eventually start going down a lot after some days of weird trading like that. It did go down considerably to what would be much better investment levels. And anybody that was crazy enough to hold on to coins purchased at that price, they lost a lot of money. But then there's like for example, there was another ICO recently by the I don't know if many of you know of Firefox, the browser Firefox.
Yeah.
And the company Mozilla. And so this guy kind of formed like a superstar team with like people from other companies like Facebook and some other notable companies. They formed a team for this coin.
Right.
And the coin's like, it's based on like a new web browser called Brave, and led by this former lead developer of Mozilla. And so this really got a lot of hype behind it. And this ICO, when they opened it up for the buy-ins, the ICO ended within 5 minutes. And it did millions of dollars worth of investment of money invested into the ICO before it launched to the exchange. That one's called actually BAT on the exchange. It trades on Bittrex. There's interesting things that happen like that, but even that one went down a lot, and it's still kind of going down now. And so those are kind of like, it gives me ideas for future investment if you don't get positioned in the ICO and then profit off it nicely there, and then just look forward to the future for its all-time low to get a little bit of exposure in it if it really does have some really awesome stuff about it. Like Zcash or BAT or whatever, a couple of the ones that have turned out to. Well, Zcash probably turned out to be a good deal, I guess, long term. That's a pretty solid coin. And BAT, it really starts to prove itself, but it really has some firepower with who's behind it, and what they're doing with it is quite innovative. So, it's an idea. It's an idea for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So sound example, like you need to be smart about doing this. And that's what I love about what you created. You are all the time on the market. What's happening with the market, you're researching, you're in the community, and you have points that you've already done your market research and analysis. You've seen what's happening. Some of the coins are, buy and hold kind of coins where you buy a coin and you hold it for several months, and then you wait until the price is going to definitely go up. And part of the membership that you have there with your training is that you're doing this research and you're telling people, okay, those are the coins to buy. Okay, I've done my research. Here are the coins to buy. Go and buy. I mean, it's not getting any more complicated than that. I mean, it's, here's the coin. Go get and buy the coin, hold it, and then sell it later on when the price goes down. That's one of the big things that I love about what you've created, Caleb. So maybe you can take a moment and we're going to get into all of your questions, guys, in just a moment. But show us a little bit about what you've created. Let me know in the chat. Do you want to see? I mean, do you want to learn the skills? Do you want to see what actually you can learn with this stuff, and how you can take advantage of all of the cryptocurrency? Let me know right now in the chat, and yeah, show us what you've created, Khaled.
All right, great. Yeah. I also wanted to just throw something in. You were mentioning before about how simple the strategy can be. Also on these coins that we're really liking, that I've done the market research on, we're like, these are like amazing, long-term opportunities. Those same coins, while you can be positioned long-term, you can also be positioned with amounts of money for short-term flipping. And so you can be confidently positioned with those trading positions because you're so bullish on those coins for a long term. It's really nice to also trade them short term. So you're positioned in two different ways on coins that you just really love for the future. For your position for long term, and your position to make those short term active profits. So you don't have to wait like longer periods of time to make profit, because you have your longer term seed that will make that really big profit over a longer period of time, and you have the ability to flip and make short term profits. But just to move on from that, though, I've moved over to the back office of the Bitcoin Lifestyles Club course here that I've developed, and actually on the overview section, which has a syllabus, which goes over all of the things that I've put for training into the course that I've developed for somebody who's even the complete newbie, who's never touched Bitcoin before, to be able to get into it. And learn about the blockchain, learn about Bitcoin, learn how to get it and set up their first wallet and secure it properly, and get set up on the exchanges, secure them properly, and how to use them, and always step-by-step tutorial videos.
There's like 70 different videos that you uploaded there, right?
Excuse me?
About 70 different videos that you've uploaded there.
Yeah, towards that number, basically around 60 to 70 videos are in this course right now, with actually more that I have planned to be made as I have more content planned. But basically, this is like holding your hand to take you through all the stuff, all the functional stuff you need to know, and then you can learn at your own pace, at your own rate, the stuff that's really going to make you a lot of money, which is learning how to do the analysis, the market research, and the fundamental analysis and the technical analysis. So I'll just go through some of the things that you would learn in the course. Of course, tutorials on the different Bitcoin wallets. We're going through the basics here. Learning Satoshi value, which is the measurement of Bitcoin value. So like over here at the exchange, you're seeing these numbers here, and it's like 0.000064. Like that's Satoshi value, an 8-place decimal number. And this is like kind of like new information, new territory to a lot of people to understand this. It's like Greek or something. And people are like, oh, how much is that in cents? How much is that in US dollar value? Well, it's important to understand like how the market interfaces against the US dollar, and how all these altcoins interface with their value against Bitcoin, which is called Satoshi value, because then that starts to open your mind up to how this money is made, and how we have so much leverage when we're not only just holding Bitcoin, which has its value growth against the US dollar, but when we're trading the altcoins, which have their value against the Bitcoin, and actually provides us with the potential for double pumps in value when we're holding those altcoins and Bitcoin goes up, and those altcoins go up against Bitcoin. We're actually earning twice as much money as we would be as if we were just holding Bitcoin and Bitcoin's going up.
Right.
It might be a little bit complicated to get that, but that's taught fully in the Learn Satoshi Value training. You'll learn all you need to know about those numbers and how you can perceive them to make money with them. And then, of course, we go through the fundamentals of crypto trading with an important video to watch before you go through that, where I'm going to give some important points. But then I'm going to take you through security fundamentals. I'm going to talk about managing your emotions when you're trading, how to read the Japanese candlesticks and charts, take you through just day trading basics and fundamentals, take you through risk management strategies, example, money management strategies that I use with my balances. Like I'm telling you about long-term seeds and short-term amounts on same coin. So you're using strategy. You're having a game plan. It's important to have a game plan with the market so that you can maximize your profits and minimize your losses. And,
Right.
and maximize your ability to take advantage of opportunities when they come before you. And then I explain a dynamic of how when Bitcoin goes up, surging, and altcoins go down, and vice versa. Also finding support and resistance levels. This is the fundamentals, the basics beyond the getting started basics. Then we're getting into a little bit more intermediate stuff right here in the fundamentals of crypto trading. Then I have training specific to each of these exchanges, Bittrex and Poloniex, that takes you through how to register and secure your account with two-factor authentication. Just an overall overview of each of these platforms,
Right.
how to deposit the coin, how to buy and sell from the order book, and how to place strategic buy and sell orders. Over Poloniex, we get a couple more options that you learn how to do, like how to use stop limit on your trades, stop limit orders. They can be used to minimize loss or set to sell it, take profit at certain areas. This is something certain traders like to use. Me and a lot of my friends in the crypto market don't actually like to use stop limits for certain reasons. Because I find that stop limit can often be a stop profit, and I like to be more patient with my trading. But everyone wants to know how to use all the tools, and so some people like to use this, and so the training's there. Then you can also do margin trading on Poloniex, which is where you're shorting the market. So you're going to teach you how to short the market of an altcoin. Okay, that's where you're profiting, you're gambling, you're betting on, you're at a certain price point in a coin and you're betting that it's going to go down. And when it goes down, you close your trade in profit. But you can also lose your complete amount that you bet on that trade. If the market goes in the opposite direction a certain amount, then you lose all the money that you put into that trade. So it's another interesting way of trading that's very popular, because you can make money when the market's you can make money on when the market's going up, and you can make money when the market's going down. And I guess in traditional trading, and just the buying and the selling of the asset, which is the meat of what we're all doing here, buying these coins low and selling them high. You know, at the high points, you're looking for those high points to take a profit, if not with 100% of the balance, at least with a certain percent of the balance. You can take a certain amount of profit or regain your seed or whatever it is. Look for that next opportunity for it after it hits the peak to buy more low. Or the other thing people like to do is just short the market, which is where you didn't actually buy the coins at the low first, but you found a coin that reached a high and you're done some analysis, you're damn sure that this coin is going to go down. So margin trading, you're actually borrowing, you're actually borrowing the coins kind of off the market in order to sell them.
You have the passively with swap lending. You can actually lend the coin on the exchange, and people will collect the interest. That's pretty cool.
That's right, and you're actually lending to the margin traders, who are the ones who are borrowing for the leverage to do their shorting. And so you, as the swap lender, are completely protected by the rules of how margin trading works. You always get your percentage, whether that margin trader wins or loses. So this is a way that you can park certain amounts of money in primary top volume coins that are available for margin trading and swap lending, coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, for example. I think Monero might be one. You can just park money on the exchange and let it gain daily by having lending offers that people can keep taking up. And you can gain a small percentage per day doing absolutely nothing, just keeping the money parked there.
Fundamental analysis, what creates value in cryptocurrencies, how to do your own market research, which is pretty cool, that you are basically showing, you know, how to go about yourself and doing your own analysis of a coin yourself, whether it's something on the open exchange or ICO, initial coin offering, which is pretty cool. And then you
Exactly.
have the technical analysis. Like this is like more advanced, right? For people that want to really dive deep into this.
Yeah, this is where you can start at your own pace, becoming an advanced trader, doing things like what's mentioned here. I also wanted to make sure you didn't forget how to trade Bitcoin against the USD tether. That's a thing that Poloniex offers that actually allows you to day trade Bitcoin against the dollar, something some people really enjoy to do. And you could do so with low fees on the Poloniex exchange. So that's cool. But yeah, with technical analysis, I'm taking you through the Coinigy. I got a tutorial on Coinigy here, the crypto market charting platform walkthrough / tutorial. Then I'm taking you through understanding the market cycles theory, and then showing you how it plays out in the charts, how to identify fear and greed in the charts, which helps you to understand the climate of a market and how you can be profiting, how to identify continuation patterns with ascending triangles and bull and bear pennants, how to identify reversal patterns with double tops and double bottoms. We're starting to get into terminology here. And how to identify reversal patterns with head and shoulders. So a couple things on reversal patterns, and how to use a Fibonacci retracement tool. I have more coming along. I have a handful of more videos coming along for this technical analysis section. Next one coming up is actually going to be how to use Fibonacci extensions tool. Fibonacci retracements is kind of when you're looking at a market that's peaked and you want to take a look at, and then it's come down and you want to take a look at where it could possibly retrace up to, so you could short the market.
The bottom line, guys, you're probably looking at this and like, oh my goodness, there's so much stuff here. The thing is that you don't need to, know and watch every single video before you're actually going out there and trading cryptos and buying cryptos. You can just basically take the market research that Caleb already has been doing and buy those coins, and you can stay close to the group. And you don't need to go into the advanced stuff, because for me, I'm looking at this, and probably a lot of you guys as well, you're thinking in your head right now, where is the money, Caleb? Can you share maybe a couple of success stories, maybe somebody that have taken this course of yours and they've made money?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you're right on the spot there. Just toning it down from what I was just getting into, because you do not need this technical analysis stuff to get in here and start making money. Just come in here and using the market research and getting positioned on some coins. You gotta start somewhere, man. And you can't start all the way on the advanced level. And a lot of this stuff, I made a lot of money before that I learned like a lot of this stuff and started implementing it. So
start small, start something, get in the game. That's the most important part. Get in the game. So
that's it. That's it, man. And it doesn't have to be a full-time thing either. You don't have to be successful with the markets. You don't have to be at your computer every single day, 24/7. I teach you things like how to use a mobile app for tracking price and getting notifications of when price moves to certain areas on these assets, so then you can be aware and going about your life and vacationing, or if you're on the job or whatever it is, your responsibilities or whatever you're trying to do. This doesn't have to be hampering your life. This can be enhancing your life, because you're making money. You can make money from wherever you are and be able to manage the trading of it just through your mobile phone, and so that's key.
You don't need to get tied up and looking at the charts and like being all the time, kind of like 24/7, watching the different coins. You can set up like mobile alerts, and stuff like that to get you an indication. Okay, maybe it's time to sell. Different things, but definitely you don't need to be glued to the screen. So you have several people that have that you have some success stories.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into next. I just wanted to add a little bit of value to where you're going there to show people, this doesn't have, this can only be, it only has to be as complicated as you personally choose to make it. And you can keep it simple. Okay. Here on BitcoinLifestyles.club, I actually have a bunch of testimonials down here you can review down towards the bottom with Facebook comments. And you'll have some people talking about their results here. I have one particular friend of mine, Luke, who had, and I have a few examples here of people who have come in and just done some pretty remarkable things. Like I have my friend Cedric. Okay, I'll start with Cedric, who came in with 30K, and within a month and a half, he had over 100K. Okay, I have my friend Luke, who came in with 0.4 Bitcoin, and within 2 months, he rolled that into over 12K worth, over 12,000 USD worth of value. He went from 0.4 Bitcoin to over 12,000 to over 5 figures. And like, that's like pretty life changing for him. I have this interesting post here on my Facebook, I think I can find quickly, where he just mentions about how it's pretty much like changing his life, being able to make money like this, because I was having like conversations with him, and he's like telling me about, he like works on a farm, his family has like a farm, and he's into like agriculture and stuff like that, and like he's like, there's things that they need where they could really make things like a better experience on their farm, and he's like talking to his dad about, how they could make certain improvements and things they should invest in. And then his dad's like, yeah, that would be like, great and everything, but like, who's going to pay for that? And it's like, and Luke is telling him, well, don't worry about it. You aren't going to have to pay for anything. Luke is able to do good things for his family. His life is changing. He's making more money than he's ever made before in his life. I've had people who have been lawyers for the past 20 years who come to me on a private message and ask me about, for more information about what I'm doing, because they see that me on a regular basis with some of my trade results coming through, and really what I've done in the past couple of years with my personal financial growth. I'm making money faster and more easily than they've ever done in 20 years with such a, astute and highly regarded position as being a lawyer, or a doctor. It's pretty incredible. I've received comment from people over the past couple of years before I even developed the course. When I've developed the group, the trading group, the private trading chat group over this past few years here, and I've received comment so many times from people that just being involved in my private chat group, that they've been in position for profits that they would have not been in position for if they had not been involved, in the flow of the information that comes through there daily. I don't know if you have any comments on that while I look for this post. I'm almost to 2.
That's beautiful. So you have people that make potential amounts of money from this trading. I know yourself, you're definitely living the lifestyle you can take and travel wherever you want. And with some of the people that were asking how you can cash out, you can easily cash out all of those tradings. The profits that you make, you can turn them back into Bitcoins, and then the Bitcoins you can cash out using any of the debit cards that are available. We can talk about that in a moment, but it's really cool to see, man, that you are living the lifestyle, like you created this Train Bitcoins lifestyle club, which is kind of cool, because it's really, you can live a freedom lifestyle with Bitcoins if you understand those things. If you imagine like investing $1,000 into something that turns into 50,000 or 100,000. It's pretty substantial there with the trading, and it can definitely happen for you over the long term. You can also learn how to make smaller gains but more steady gains as you go along. So it's really awesome to see, man, that you have so many success stories of people that are implementing this stuff and they are making amazing results, you know. And I think the price that you have put on this, it's really low. I mean, the value compared to the value that you give, it's like 0.1 bitcoins to get this training. It's really an amazing deal here. It's amazing value for all the value that you provide in the course. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, man. I mean, my goal has been, I know so many people out there are selling courses for, I mean, I've seen the whole gamut of range of prices for different courses, for different things and trainings online that promise to help people, you know, what they learn is going to help them make like lots of money and become very successful. And in different areas that aren't even directly in regard to taking money, directly managing it yourself and growing it with the markets, you know, whether it's different social media trainings, people are selling for $500 to $1,000 or $2,000, or coaching sessions that people are selling for $10,000 or $20,000 for, you know, however much time. You know, there's actually people out there that are doing that charge quite a lot. You know, and I wanted to position the pricing of this course so that it wouldn't price people out, so I could help change as many lives as possible by getting people in touch with the information about this industry and these markets and how that you can interface with them to profit like I have while we have this amazing window of opportunity here. And I did find the post with my friend Luke Jones here that I was talking about, and I'll just kind of scroll to the images here and read them to you. Okay, just so you can see how that this guy's life has changed by getting involved with Bitcoin Lifestyles Club. Let's see, we're talking. It says, yes, sir, I'm over 11K, was at 12 today, but I withdrew 1,500 for bills, and he made 700 back already. Wow, that's amazing. But remind me, how much did you start with, and how long did it take? You know, I saw the opportunity to ask him that right there. So he started with 0.4 Bitcoin at around $500, and in 6 weeks, to 5 Bitcoin in around $11,000 to $12,000. He invested a little bit more here and there, about 0.1 BTC here, 0.1 BTC there, and only about in total 0.7 BTC to get himself up to that 5 BTC. So most of it was through the trading, not from his further investing with outside money. Wow, that's pretty amazing, man. Would you say this is a new skill you've picked up that is like printing money faster than anything else you've ever done before in your life, trading crypto? He says, yes. LOL, I have been searching for my breakthrough for 5 years, barely surviving with a wife and 4 kids.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah, okay. And that just finishes his thing. Now, all of a sudden, I've made more money than anybody in my family ever has. This last month, I made more than the highest paid married couple in my family does on a monthly basis, and their jobs required degrees and extensive training and a decade of working to get to where they are now, and I obliterated their earnings. Wow. Okay, so that is like one of my favorite kind of like examples. I also have my friend here. You see, I have some more of my friends here that commented. I have my friend Alec Karuba, who grew his account from 14 BTC to 21 BTC in less than 2 weeks by being involved with the course and group. There's probably some other comments in here as well. Yeah, just to show you. And there's a whole bunch more that I start thinking and remembering more other people here that have just had incredible results, and it's pretty much countless. It's just more and more people are joining this group of people who are joining the course, taking action, learning and taking action, and getting results and changing their lives.
I'm pretty much sure that most of you guys here, and let me know in the chat. I mean, you would like to take something like $500 worth of started, you know, with Bitcoins, put it in the exchanges, and then 6 weeks later get $12,000 back. I mean, would that be a good start for you as a beginner trader? I mean, you can make much more, obviously, but turning $500 into like $12,000, would that be a pretty amazing couple of weeks? Let me know, guys. And I just want to take a moment, Caleb, and show people how they can get started with this. And then we're going to come back to the questions that people have. And we're going to finish this strong, okay? So I'm going to share my screen. If you can come back live here and stop sharing yours. So Sharon says it's a really good start. Susie says it's a really good start, you know, from 500 to 12,000. I think it is too. So I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. One sec. Screen, one sec. Let me log in. To Bitcoin's Wealth Club. So this is the system that I've created, guys, to really help you make multiple streams of income with Bitcoins, to teach you and educate you about how to grow your wealth with Bitcoins. I have a lot of strategies here inside this section, including the Bitcoin passive income opportunities and stuff like that. Now, in this trading section right here, we are all focusing on trading cryptocurrencies. And this is, as you've seen right now, the opportunity is major. To profit greatly with learning this skill, and there is no better person I can think of than Caleb to really teach you this stuff, and also give you a little review here on the again what Caleb already showed you, what you're getting with this course, and this is how you can get access to this. So when you log in inside, when you click on trading cryptocurrencies, you're going to see a button here. Click here to learn more about Bitcoin Lifestyle Club trading course. So when you're going to click on that button right here, it's going to open up a new window, and here is where you're going to click on Let Me In or Join button, right? So when you click on either one of those, it's going to take you to the complete the form. So you're going to put in your first name, last name, Facebook. I think it's just to verify, you know, and communicate with you. You're going to set up your username, your email address, your phone number, and here you're going to choose some of the options. Either getting just the crypto trading course for 0.1 Bitcoins, which is really awesome price and awesome deal for everything you're getting. Also, you can get Facebook lead generation mastery. I think you've done some modules, Caleb, right, on the lead generation part of things on Facebook. If you want to get access to this, you can do that, or get a full access bundle with basically both of them, and giving you this at a discount. So either of those, or just the crypto trading course is fine. And then you're going to send your Bitcoin payment to this address. And once you do so, you're going to put here the transaction ID, Caleb. So maybe you can clarify on that for a sec. What they put here in the
ID is generated when you send the Bitcoin, and basically you go to your say if you're in Coinbase or if you're in blockchain, you go to your transactions, you can open up the details for the transaction, and there will be a link there that allows you to click over and get the transaction ID, which is a long string of letters and numbers that will be also on the page that you go to when you click over, and also in the URL. As a note, I'll be adding a video shortly today at the top of this page that will show you how to go through this registration form, and also how to get your transaction ID, so you can see it visually as well.
Okay, cool. That's going to be added here, but it's really something like a transaction ID at every wallet you have. So, and then you're going to click here, and then the referred by option. This is optional, actually, right?
Yeah, that's an optional field. Actually, the software tracks the referrals coming through, but I just barely added this affiliate software to the course, and there might still be some people who might come leaking through from my other affiliates who maybe have not signed up for the affiliate link yet. So there they have the ability to still write in their name, taking that off the form at some point in the future, once that probably sometime in the next couple of weeks, but it's there right now as well.
Yeah. So if basically, if you come and join this from inside the Bitcoin's Wealth Club, you don't need to fill this out, because whoever referred you to the Bitcoin's Wealth Club they're going to get the credit for this. Again, we are allowing you to really enjoy multiple streams of income here as you are educating yourself about Bitcoin. So once you submit, it's going to take about 24 to 48 hours to get your login information, right, Caleb? I think it may be like for everybody who is right now on this training live. I mean, we are going to give you access to the course right away, right, Caleb?
Yeah, you know, as soon as the Bitcoin payment that you send in becomes confirmed, I'm usually right on it. I give the 24 to 48 hours just because, you know, just in case I'm traveling, I need to stop somewhere, open up the laptop and get the new memberships processed. I just need a little bit of time sometimes to be able to get in there and see that. But as soon as I see the Bitcoin payment confirmed with the first confirmation, I usually go through and membership access, email that right over to you, as well as also an email invite to our private chat group on Slack. So just kind of take care of it in a methodical way like that.
So it's very simple to do. And then basically what people can expect the moment they do this, they get access to the course, what would they expect in terms of, like, you know, how long it would take them, or what they should, like, how they can plan to, like, devour all this stuff, like what are their first action steps should be?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to depend on where that you're starting. If you're a complete newbie coming in, you're just going to want to start at the base level in the beginning. When you log into your account, you go to the Bitcoin section. That's where the training for the crypto course is available. On that first overview page, has that syllabus like I went through with you guys. Notice that there's a note that says to go through the videos in order. So especially if you're a complete newbie coming in, you're just going to want to start at the beginning and move forward logically through the course at your own pace. And you don't have to go through all the way to the end, through all the technical analysis and all the advanced training. Just go through. You'll see that as you go through the beginning parts, you'll start to take you through the actual doing of things, and you'll be able to. And I would say do that, and also right away take the email invite to the private chat group and get in Slack right away. Slack is an app that you'll have to download from slack.com, and the email that you get will have the details for that and allowing you to log in. Because that way you can also be in top with the conversation of our group right away, and also if you can ask questions in there, feel free to ask questions in there. And it's a fun community, and it's a place where there's no question, there's no dumb question. Okay.
Awesome, absolutely. So go get started. Go in the basic videos up there. Set up your exchange on the Poloniex or Bittrex. You know, put some bitcoins in there, and you don't need to go into the advanced stuff, but definitely join right away the Facebook group and the Slack group. You know, to get inside the community, to get in the know, to actually shortcut, you know, the learning curve, so to speak, and to get straight away into, you know, what's hot right now. It's always cheap. You know, what are the coins to get right now? What's awesome investment opportunities that the members of the community have spotted. So you want to be in the know. I mean, the people that you surround yourself with, that's going to drive your wealth. You surround yourself with millionaires, you're going to become a millionaire. So that's a really awesome thing. Now, guys, if you have any questions right now is a great time to ask. We're going to hit them all off, and I promise we're going to answer every question that we have. I have some of them already from before that we are going to answer right now. One of them is, how do you cash out? Rafal is asking, like, okay, I'm doing my profits. How do I cash out on that?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So 2 ways of cashing out. Okay. Cashing out, say if you want to take the money off of the exchange, put it into a wallet for safekeeping. There's that form of cashing out. Then there's cashing out. Most people are probably wondering about, okay, that's where you get it out to cash, the actual fiat money into your bank. Depending on where you are in the world, there are different exchanges that interface with your bank. One of the biggest ones that is around a large portion of the world based in the United States is called Coinbase. And so you would basically just perform a withdrawal from either exchange that you're using or from if you're keeping your coins in a wallet outside of an exchange and you want to liquidate those, then you can. Well, if it's altcoins, you would send them to the exchange and you would trade it for Bitcoin, and you would take that Bitcoin and you would send it to Coinbase or whatever exchange is appropriate for where in the world that you are located, and you would perform a market sell of Bitcoin for whatever the current rate is, and the money would then go via ACH bank transfer to your bank account within probably a couple of days. So that would be the process from altcoins through to Bitcoin out to fiat. And of course, now with Coinbase, and I don't know about other exchanges if they let you liquidate to USD from the other options other than Bitcoin, but I know with Coinbase in particular, you can actually exit Ethereum to US dollar or other currencies that Coinbase is functioning with around the world, or Litecoin to US dollar as well. So those are kind of like the on-off ramp to fiat is the Bitcoin, the Litecoin, the Ethereum, and on the exchanges that process those for that purpose, which Coinbase does those three, but all exchanges does definitely Bitcoin to fiat.
Awesome. So it's very easy to cash out with your profits. Now, Troy is asking about the Tezos ICO. Have you heard something about this?
What's the name of it? Or how do you spell it? Is that on the right? Is it on the right there?
T-E-Z-O-S, Tezos.
T-E-Z-O-S.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of that one. No, I have not heard of that one, actually. Yep. The most interesting ICO that I've seen recently that just passed was the 10X ICO. It's this new debit card that's being launched that supports multiple cryptocurrencies to be loaded onto it. Their goal is to basically have any and all of the relevant cryptocurrencies be interfacing with 10X. And 10X also had a token that they launched in regard to this called 10X. And that was a very interesting ICO that just passed that we were discussing in our ICO research channel in the private chat group. And we look over ICO opportunities on a regular basis as people drop the links to what they find in there. We analyze those according to a number of factors to determine whether it's a possibly solid ICO to invest in or not. Factors like what innovations, what's the team that's behind it, who's on the team, and the ultimate factor is how much of a proportion of the actual money that's being raised by the ICO is being kept by development, because that's a part of the value proposition that you have to look at, because a lot of ICOs can be really unfair in the amount of money that is kept by development. So that's something that a lot of people just don't know. A lot of newbies that are looking at ICOs. White paper is important to look at because there was a coin that launched via ICO on the Ethereum blockchain within past months called Bancor, B-A-N-C-O-R, and that's turned out to be the biggest joke. I didn't actually study that one when it came out, but I knew about it. I had people that are coming here like, oh, what's up with that Bancor? I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about Bancor. And next thing I know, I'm seeing the other day, someone made a very funny post, and they pointed out that, and they showed how that bank plummeted so much all at once, because I think more and more people that had invested ended up looking at the white paper and see there's only 40 lines of code for that coin Bancor. That's not a thing to invest in.
Right.
A lot of these complex things, code took time to make, not just it's Bancor, okay, let's invest in it. It's got 40 lines of code. So I think people just dumped it. They dumped it real hard. So the research in the ICO is important. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about that one that you asked.
Awesome. So that's another good thing and reason to be part of that Slack group and be part of this community to be able to quickly run any investment ideas, coins or ICOs by the other members who are passionate about trading cryptos, and you can you can be more confident about your moves. Definitely, it's not being by yourself. It's by itself very, very valuable. we have Idan asked before, you know, about the exchanges for Poloniex or Bittrex, how safe it is to really keep the money there on those exchanges.
So it's pretty safe if you're using two-factor authentication. I've had no problems there myself personally. You need to use two-factor authentication with it, not just your mobile phone number. You're going to want to use an application like Google Authenticator or LastPass Authenticator or something really solid like we're out there, but not using two-factor authentication through a text message that comes to your phone, because that's actually pretty hackable. You need to be using a mobile app for that. And you also need to secure your email accounts that are attached to your cryptocurrency exchange accounts and any important accounts that are financial. Because those are another area where you can get hacked. People can then find your login information and passwords and stuff like that. And so, of course, in the course, I teach about properly securing your account. That's most key, because I will admit that over the past few years, I have had two people that I've that I've known of that have mentioned about their accounts being hacked and losing like all their money on the exchange, or like most of the money. And in both of those scenarios, both of those people did not have two-factor authentication enabled. Okay, so that's so key to have your account properly secured, and to be using just properly, just to be really careful online in general.
We are with your basically like the probability of having issues with a large exchange like that are pretty low, like very low. You know, you get your account secure. I mean, there's millions in trades happen there, so it's fairly exchanged. One thing I will add, and I think you'll agree with me on that, Caleb, you know, once you are going to make your big profits, it makes sense to some of the profits take from the exchange and put it into the cold storage, you know, into the Ledger Nano S or Trezor, you know, just put your Bitcoins there out of the exchange and keep it private, your private keys, you know, and keep the money that you want to get.
I wouldn't keep all the money on the exchange. Yeah, you need to diversify where you're holding your money. It's called counterparty risk, and the exchange is the counterparty, and they're responsible for your coins while they're on the exchange. Exchanges have failed, and people have lost all their money in the past. Okay, so it's important, like you're saying, like Vitaliy is saying, as you're profiting, as you're getting into these coins, as you're getting these long-term seeds, you know, pull them off into the coin's respective wallet, or if the coin has an option to be on Ledger Nano X or Trezor, two of the most popular wallets that are out there, then move them onto those devices. And I would say move whatever you can onto the cold storage wallet devices, because they're all around the safest option for the long-term storage of your cryptocurrency. And only keep what you're regularly needing to trade with on the exchange. Now, as you grow, this can actually turn out to be a lot of money. Like for me, I have a lot of money off the exchanges, you know, and I regularly have over between 100 and 200 K's worth of money on the exchange. But I have so much more that's off the exchange. I didn't need that much on the exchange to do the trading I like to do, you know. But with that in regard, I've pulled off as much as I can into the cold storage and other wallets, and massive value. You know, I mean, you understand, we've spoke of like my portfolio value before. So it seems like I'm keeping about between 10 and 20% of my portfolio value on the exchange at a time at this point.
That is awesome. Sharon is asking about you were asking Sharon about Google Authenticator and Fast Authenticator. This is what you can use.
It got quiet, Vitaliy. I can't hear you.
Sharon was asking about the last authenticator. I think this is what she meant. You know,
the LastPass authenticator.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The LastPass authenticator is actually an authenticator option And I linked to it in the course and have it recommended there. I prefer it over the Google Authenticator because it actually has security to be able to enter the app on your phone. So, okay, you have your phone, which may have thumbprint security or a PIN for you to even open your phone to get to the apps. Okay, but past that, then you can enter the apps that don't have passwords or some sort of security to enter the app. So Google Authenticator, while still great and will do the trick, you can open it right up. Once you're in your phone, you can open it right up and you have access to those codes. With the LastPass Authenticator, you actually have to use a thumbprint or a fingerprint, an additional time to be able to, once you pull the app up, to then enter the app and access the codes, or you can use a 6-digit PIN code number. Alternatively, you have those two options to be able to open the app. So it's another layer of security that makes it even harder for you to get hacked through the LastPass option.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to, if somebody takes your phone and they go into the Google Authenticator and they see, oh, you have Poloniacs there, and they easily can enter, maybe potentially, other than Google Authenticator, like you need to have your username and password, obviously, for people to log in inside.
Never save your username and password in the regular browser's phone when it asks. That's another thing.
We're getting on the top of the 2 hours here, guys. If you have any more questions, this is the time to ask. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up. We have another question by Idan. Do you export Bitcoins to exchange to trade? And after the trading, you import the money to the Trezor device or leave the money on the... I think we answered that one already, Idan. Yeah, like you want to keep some that you want to use on the exchange, and others you are going and getting out to the Trezor. Okay. Yeah. So I think we have answered all the questions. If I'm going to see something coming in the next minute or so, if you guys have questions right now, ask them, because we are getting here on the top of the 2 hour mark. I think, Caleb, it was an amazing training today. I mean, it opened mind for so many people watching this and watching the replay afterwards. I mean, what is possible with cryptocurrency trading? The potential is huge here. You can go and invest into coins. They go rise in value by 10 times or 100 times. And in some cases, even more than that. And, knowing which coins to get into and when to buy, when to sell, and be part of the community like you have created is really awesome and valuable. It's one of the exciting ways today to create wealth with Bitcoins. And I can tell you guys that, as we move along here in the history, in the development, we already have wallets that support multi-coins, which means you can download an app and you can have multiple different cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, sitting inside your app, like your mobile bank, and you can, right within the app, you can do exchanges, one coin to another. I mean, this is where the direction that we are going to, and there is also many merchant services out there that start accepting not just Bitcoin, but other coins like Dash and hundreds of more. And this is where we are really going to, like, you're going to see that you can buy different things online with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, with Litecoin, with all of those different options that will be available. So this is the direction we are going as a society, guys. This is the money of the internet, and it's not need to be approved by anybody. But if the internet adopts it, if people are using the apps, they're downloaded, the value is going up. The more people use it, the more people start to buy into those coins, its value is going to keep rising. And people need this. People need this whole revolution happen for a reason, because people are they're tired to rely on the fiat currency that is controlled by the government, by the banks. The purchasing value of the dollar is depreciating 98% since the last, since 1913 when the Federal Reserve Bank was created. So we see the rise, the drop in value for all the paper money and the currencies that are being inflated and being printed over and over, and people are moving over. You can actually watch it live. Millions of dollars. I've seen between 30 to 80 million dollars every single day are pouring into Bitcoins because people want that. People want to be independent, to own the coins, to be in control of it. That nobody can take it and seize it, and they can do whatever they want with it. On a global basis. So this is the people power, like Sharon says here in the chat. I absolutely agree. So exciting times.
Absolutely, man. So on point.
Awesome.
Everything you just said. I can't believe 2 hours has gone by. It's been such an incredible conversation. Like, I'm just very passionate about this, and 2 hours can just like fly by, whether I'm on a webinar with you just discussing all this amazing information about the industry, or whether I'm on a phone call with somebody who just wants to talk about it. Man, time can really go by when we talk about this subject because it's just very exciting.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I thank you so much, Caleb, for showing up here, for teaching all of our members of Bitcoin's Wealth Club and the community. You know what you need to do to get started on the course. It's an amazing value. You can click right down below this video to get this started and start educating yourself about how to be a trader and how to get involved into cryptocurrency trading and get amazing results like other people before you have done. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Caleb. And we're wrapping it up, and we're going to see you in future videos.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vitaliy. Appreciate you all, and look forward to connecting with you. So, good day.
Thank you, guys.